Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Arrow Season 6. So heading into Arrow Season 6, we have quite a few decent things to be looking forward to and getting, pretty damn excited about. We are just around 5 weeks, I think, maybe just under 5 weeks, I think, for the shows coming back, so not long to go now at all. Some of the things we have coming in Arrow Season 6 that we definitely should be looking forward to include the fallout from the Lian Yu explosion from the Season 5 finale and, who lived and who died following that. We also have the return of Deathstroke or Slade Wilson as a much bigger role in the show again, which is pretty cool. And then we have Richard Dragon showing up as a villain this season, which for me at least is awesome, as I've been waiting quite a while for that to finally happen. But another thing that will be going down in Arrow Season 6, which will be pretty damn cool to see happen, is the further exploration of sorts into the character we met in Season 5, and that is Vigilante. Obviously in Season 5 we were just led to believe that the DA or the new District Attorney, Dorian Chase, was Vigilante, as in the comics, Dorian Chase is one of the holders of the mantle Vigilante. But of course we all got baited into that and he was actually revealed to be Prometheus, the big bad villain for the season. So since that point in the season, most of us have been thinking to ourselves, okay then, well who the hell is Vigilante then? The last time we saw Vigilante was in episode 15, I think, of season 5 when he attempted to assassinate Oliver Queen following the whole impeachment thing. But the producers have said we will learn the identity of Vigilante in season 6 and get more backstory, hopefully, I guess, on the character. So in this video, we are going to be going over the most mentioned possible identities of Vigilante, so the ones that most people are bringing up in the comments section, talking about on social media, all of that stuff, as well as the likelihood of them coming true on the show, so the likelihood of this person being Vigilante. But of course, as per usual, be sure to leave all of your opinions on all of these options and choices in the comments section down below, as well as any other characters that you think could be Vigilante that I do fail to mention throughout this video, because I'm sure there'll be 1 or 2, or maybe 50, who knows? And of course, if you're going to enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like on it just to support the video and the channel as a whole. And if you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. So to start off, we are going to go over the more obscure options, I guess, that people have come up with before we get into the more serious choices, I guess you could say, or the more likely to happen. But I'll mention when we're getting into the more serious choices later in the video. So let's start with a female character, and the only female on the list, and that is Huntress, or Helena Bertinelli, however you want to pronounce it. Now, a lot of you may find this an odd option, as why would they put an already established character, an alias of sorts, in the form of Huntress, in another alias of Vigilante, which I actually completely agree with. I really don't see the point of it all. However, Vigilante is going to be a familiar face, someone that everyone will recognize, and it has been suggested that Huntress could show up again in Season 6, so you can understand why she is being considered to be under the mask of Vigilante by a few people. However, in my opinion, I just do not see this happening at all. I think it would be a bit silly. Up next, we have Dinah Drake's ex-partner, known as Vincent Sabel. So, a lot of people believe he could be Vigilante due to a scene where Vigilante could have killed Dinah, but sort of hesitated, which I guess does make sense. However, Vincent had a funeral. That's mentioned. Dinah went to his funeral after he died, obviously, and then went away. She never came back to the police force. So he had a funeral. So unless he was dunked in the Lazarus pit, taken out of the casket, thrown in the Lazarus pit, I really can't see this happening and this, being the case. And I think it would be a bit weird. He was on screen for 20 seconds at the most. So if this guy ended up being Vigilante, I would be very, very disappointed. Now, up next is sort of like a joint option, as I have just combined a couple together, and that is the possibility that Vigilante is in fact a doppelganger of someone from Earth 2. The main ones that I've seen, being tossed around are Earth 2 versions of either Tommy Merlin or Oliver Queen. Now, you really can't just chuck this theory in the bin, as we have seen the multiverse play into Arrow now. It's not just with the Flash, and that is thanks to the addition of Black Siren, obviously. So it is a possibility that it could be an Earth 2 resident under the mask. It would be pretty cool to see Tommy back in some way, but I just struggle to see the motivations that they would have to do what they are doing. But if you do have any suggestions as to why an Earth 2 Tommy or an Earth 2 Oliver might be doing what they are doing as Vigilante, obviously let me know in the comments. Next up is one that wasn't really around when Vigilante was present on the show, or even shortly after, but a lot of people seem to start bringing it up around the finale of Arrow Season 5, and up until this point in time. And that is that Vigilante could be one of Slade Wilson's or Deathstroke's sons. Now, I can understand why people would put this together, but certain things just don't line up with this theory, and the main one is that Slade's sons would be way too young for this. From memory, his eldest son would be Joe in the Arrowverse, and he would be in his mid-teens, so around 15 to 16 years old, and it is rumored that we're going to be seeing Joe in Arrow Season 6. It's going to be, they're casting a teenager role, an Australian as well. They're trying to get an Australian person for it. So they're casting a Joe Wilson for Arrow Season 6. Really, when you do think about it, especially seeing that Deathstroke is returning for this season, it would have been a pretty cool little story arc if a son of Slade's was Vigilante. However, as I said, the age doesn't match up, and I think it would just end up being a bit silly if we had a 15 or 16-year-old suited up as Vigilante running around causing havoc. So yeah, I think we're going to have to put this one to the side for now. I don't think this one's going to be happening anytime soon. Next up, we have Dorian Chase. Now, in the comics, Dorian is Adrian Chase's brother, which you might have been able to tell by the fact that, they have the same last name, duh. But after Adrian dies in the comics, Dorian actually takes over the role, which could be something the show nods to. So obviously Adrian was Vigilante, he dies, then Dorian becomes Vigilante. The biggest thing that goes against this though is that Adrian Chase on Arrow wasn't really Adrian Chase, he was just using that name. So for them to work around that and introduce Dorian Chase somehow would be pretty damn difficult. And to be honest, it would not make too much sense at all. It would have been cool if they made Adrian and Dorian twins though, as it would be awesome to have Josh Segarra back on the show in some form, because he was just amazing and I wish he was still on the show in some way, but yeah, this wouldn't make too much sense. But now is the point in the video where we head into the 3 most popular choices for who Vigilante could be. I need to stress these are not the 3 most, the 3 ones that make the most sense, but they're the 3 most popular ones, so the ones that most people are talking about. Now, these are in no particular order, but they do seem to be the 3 most talked about options. Now, first up is Paul Holt, or Curtis's ex-husband. Now, from what I know, correct me if I am wrong, this theory sprouted up due to the fact that as soon as Paul left Curtis, and it was the last time we saw him on the show, it was the same episode that we last saw Vigilante. So people have thought, okay, well, Paul left, then Vigilante left, Paul is Vigilante. Now, people have also compared the heights of the 2 characters and say they are similar. I, for one, think this would be stupid if it turned out that Paul was Vigilante, if this turned out to be true. And it really only makes the top 3 because, as I said, so many people have said it. So I had to include it, but this is stupid. Honestly, if Paul was Vigilante, I would flip my TV over. So let's hope he isn't, because I don't really want to flip my TV over. I just bought it. The next one we're going to be talking about would have been one that would have been pretty damn cool to have seen play out, but certain comments made by the producers have sort of eliminated it from happening, and that is the possibility of the real Adrian Chase being Vigilante. As I did say before, the Adrian Chase we knew in Arrow Season 5 wasn't born as Adrian Chase. It was a name he took on later in life. So it would have been pretty neat if Vigilante was the real Adrian Chase, who had gone absent without leave, AWOL, just disappeared, and then Prometheus took that identity from him. In the comics, Adrian Chase's family is murdered, and he drops being Adrian Chase completely and just becomes Vigilante. So he just drops everything that was in his Adrian Chase life and just absorbs the identity of Vigilante and just takes that on full time. So that is definitely something the show could have gone with in Season 6, and I think it would have been pretty cool to see play out. However, as I did say, producers have confirmed that Vigilante is someone that we have seen before and will be familiar with when he is unmasked, and we'll be like, oh my god, he was that guy the whole time? So if we saw someone that we didn't know at all, we'll be like, okay, who's that? And then they would have to explain that this is the real Adrian Chase. So you understand why they're going with someone who we know, but it would have been pretty cool if it was the real Adrian Chase who was Vigilante on the show. And finally, we have the most popular and most likely option as to who Vigilante could end up being, and that is Captain Pike of the Star City Police Department. Now, in the comics, the holder of the Vigilante mantle is usually an employee or has something to do with the government or law enforcement, so it isn't surprising that someone in Star City's law enforcement is our top choice. Captain Pike has been around since the beginning of the show. He's not in every single episode, but he's been around since Season 1. He just didn't appear in Season 5. So he really knows everything that the Hood or the Green Arrow or the Vigilante, whatever you want to call him, has been through and seen it all go down for the most part firsthand. So maybe he decided to take it all into his own hands after the system like constantly got it wrong. We did see that Pike was placed in a coma shortly after the Prometheus reveal by Dorian Chase, obviously. And guess who never showed up again after that coma? That's right, Vigilante. So at the moment, Captain Pike is our top choice, but I'm hoping in Season 6 as it starts, whenever Vigilante does appear, we get maybe little tiny hints as to who it could be. Not massive ones like, oh, hitting you over the head with who it could possibly be, but little hints that we can also piece together with stuff from Season 5, and then we can determine possibly who Vigilante could be. But I think at this moment, Captain Pike would have to be our top choice. But do let me know what you think of all of it in the comment section down below. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy the video. As I said, if you did enjoy the video, it'd be awesome if you could leave a like on it to show your support for the video and the channel as a whole. As I also did say, let me know all of your opinions on all of these different options in the comment section down below, as well as if I missed out on any of the options that you would say could be Vigilante, like Roy could be Vigilante, someone else could be Vigilante, stuff like that. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.